football, where tonight your Bobcats travel up 49 to take on the Seminary High Bulldogs. We are here with Coach Shannon White on the Coach Shannon White Pregame show. Coach, another day to get better and another day to another test, if you will, with Seminary. What are your thoughts on the game against West Harrison?
Well, it was total opposite of the first week. You know, the first week I thought defensively we were really good and offensively we were really atrocious. And, but going to the spread last week, a big, huge improvement in our offense. Not that we scored a lot of points. We scored 3 touchdowns. One of them on a short field turnover with our defense. But, you could see the improvement in our offense. Still not running the ball. You know, if you look at both weeks, both games, literally no run game. And so obviously it's something that you never not work on it. You never not give it attention. But it's been a point of emphasis this week. You know, we've got to figure out it's not the plays. You know, it's just blocking. And so we've obviously got to improve in that area. Once we get a run game with our passing game, it's going to be a really good offense. Defensively, not a good night. You know, not a good night at all. And the defensive structure is great. We got, I think, good players on the field. But when you what we call fit, when people are responsible for certain gaps and they misfit the gap, and you have an open gap, and they've got a running back that just you're not going to catch. You know, we saw that. So much like Lawrence County last year with their great running back, you know, we saw a running back. Actually, they had 2 last week that if you're not sound defensively and they get in the open field, then those 2 guys are going to score, and that's what happened to us last week. So, hopefully with this week, we'll continue to improve on offense and see the defense we saw week 1.
Not to dwell too much on West Harrison's offense, but number 45 for them, that running back, not only was he elusive once he got into the open field, but he looked like he was a stout running back.
Yeah, he's very strong.
Yeah.
He's hard to bring down to begin with.
Right.
It usually takes a couple of people to get him down. He's very strong, very aggressive, very physical running back, and a nice-sized kid. He's probably 190 pounds. So he was a handful going into the game, but you can't give open gaps up.
No, not at all.
No, certainly not an acceptable performance by our defense this week, and then by our offense the week before. So, but you find out we're sitting there 0-2, and you find out a lot about the character of your kids. We think we have great character kids, but the evidence is in work habits and how you approach the next week. And I think we had a good week of practice, but you find out how much fight you got in you, and you get in these situations. You don't want to be in these situations. We'd love to be 0-2, obviously, but we're not. And so we expect our guys to come out playing hard and fighting with all they got this week versus Seminary.
Talk a little bit about the quarterback play. First game against South Jones, it was more of a run, a triple option, if you will, kind of attack. Last Friday, against West Harrison, it was more of a passing. Talk a little bit about the quarterback position and also how Carson Leslie adjusted to wide receiver.
Yeah, first of all, I thought Carson Leslie was an outstanding quarterback in the first offense. The fact that we couldn't get passes off was difficult for all 3 quarterbacks that we have. I thought the pocket wasn't clean a lot of times, and the decision, we had made a decision over the weekend to go ahead and change offenses, and Carson was going to receiver. He's an outstanding receiver, and obviously had a big game for us this past week. He's just a good athlete. I think he's a tough kid, and he's a good-sized kid. He's just a sophomore. He's going to play more defense for us as the year goes on, too. So he's a guy that needs to be on the field. Offensively needs to see some passes thrown his way. He comes down with footballs. And I think as the years goes on, you'll see more speed out of him and more development. But for a sophomore, he's pretty darn good. If you look at the quarterback play with Russell last week, I can't imagine a better night for a young kid, first start varsity game. I think he was 15 of 18, and that's not going to happen every week. We know that. There were some 50-50 balls last week that we came down with. There's a reason to call 50-50 balls, right? So, but he just handled the offense well. He made a couple mistakes for sure, but as far as commanding the offense, being poised, couldn't have asked for a better night. So there's a great future with him. And then Sims didn't play. Sims is, I've mentioned Sims before. Both our young quarterbacks bring something to the table. So Sims is still hobbling on his ankle a little bit. He's better. If I had to play him Friday night, I would. But he still doesn't have a great, his right foot, unfortunately, is the one that's still bothering him. So it's very hard to push off and throw right now, but he has improved. But I think you're going to see some things out of him as well. So, I've always heard if you got two quarterbacks, you don't have any quarterbacks. And I couldn't disagree more. I think you're fortunate to have two quarterbacks. I'd love to have three quarterbacks. So I don't think you could never have enough quarterbacks. And whether you play 1, 2, or 3, or whatever you're doing, when those guys know that up front, they prepare the right way, and you utilize their talents. So, I do think both those quarterbacks will play this year, as well as some JV ball. They need all the work they can get, all the games they can get in to get that experience that they're going to need. But great futures, but we need them to play good now, and so far they have.
Coach, I've always heard that same expression about if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one, or you don't have a quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how in the world of football, everybody talks about depth and you need depth, except for when it comes to the quarterback position. And then at that point you got to have one.
Well, yeah. Listen, I think if you got two average quarterbacks, you don't have any. Right. But I think we've got two young quarterbacks that are going to be really good. So I think it depends on how good the quarterbacks are you're talking about. If they're not very good and you're rotating 2 or 3 guys and you're just stuck with not much, right? So, and we see that at all levels, but that's not our case. So, man, we're really excited about those two guys, and they're not going to be perfect. They're young, and but we are excited about them and the way they carry themselves, the way they prepare. They're very similar in so many ways, and so again, we got 4 good years with those two guys. Looks like. And we got some good junior high quarterbacks coming up too. I'm telling you. So the future looks good. This might be our first year, getting off subject a little bit, Harris. Sure. But we very rarely have had back-to-back really quality groups. We have great kids. I'm not talking about the quality of the kid, the quality of the football player. And so a lot of years we'll have a good senior group, and then the 10th graders are pretty good. 11th graders maybe not so good. 9th graders promising. But to have back-to-back groups is what you really need. Whether it's juniors and sophomores or seniors and juniors, you need back-to-back groups in this league to be quality. What we have now is, I love all of our groups, but you look at our 9th grade group right now, we've got like about 30 of those guys or 25 of those guys in the dressing room. They love football, and so many of them are going to be really good players for us. Our 8th grade is really good. I think we're dressing out about 40 for the first time ever. Coach Holmes is now running that program, one of our varsity coaches, and our 7th grade is outstanding. So we think we've got not only 2 back-to-back groups coming, but 3 back-to-back groups coming. So that's what you look for when you talk about having a chance to be special, having a chance to get deep in the playoffs. It's more about players than it is scheme. Coaches are important too, trust me. And I think we have a great coaching staff here. But it's really about players at the end of the day at all levels.
And talk about depth. That's where you build the depth from 7th grade, 8th grade. You get them in that system early.
Yeah, and we're having to play guys both ways. A lot of guys, not all guys, but we're having to play too many guys both ways right now. We can win doing it that way, but it's not ideal when you're playing teams that don't do that because they have more depth or more players or they have better players, more quality players. Right. So we're going to make what we have to make out of this year. I feel good about the guys, but it's taxing for a guy to play all-night defense and 20 plays of offense. In 4A football it is. Now, in 1A, 2A, and some 3A, everybody's doing that. But in 4A, you need to avoid that if you can. So I think in the future we'll be able to split squad and guys just play corner, they just play linebacker, they just play receiver, whatever it is. You got you something there.
We travel up to Seminary tonight. Everybody knows that we've had some wacky weather this week. How have the players responded as far as, I know a lot of players a lot of times like routine. How have they responded this week as far as a little adjustment to the routine?
Well, good. So you talk about it. There's no surprise. So you prepare them for bad weather. You prepare them for lightning delays. You talk because it happens in practice sometimes. We've already had a couple practices where we've had to adjust practice because of lightning. So but it's something that you constantly talk about with them to be ready for it. And how do you handle, a 45-minute delay during a game? How do you handle not being able to practice? Wednesday at school, we only had 40 minutes with them, so there's no time to get over here to the field house and back. So we watched film, we had meetings. Our guys handle it well. Our coaches handle it well. So, but it's communication is the key there. You've got to communicate and let them know what to expect and how to handle things, and just take what's given to you that day at that moment. So we've done pretty well with that, in my opinion.
Sounds good, Coach. Turning our attention to Seminary, what can we expect to see from Seminary on offense and defense?
Defense, they're very aggressive. They were a 3-4 team. For our fans that understand defensive formations, and I'm sure we got a bunch of them, but they're a 3-4 team. Their front three linemen are really good players, and they're athletic. Their whole team is athletic. I think so they got a very athletic team. I think they're well coached, obviously. Offensively, boy, I tell you what, Coach Evans down there is a great play caller, great play designer. They run a lot of stuff. They're a spread team. They get into some power formations here and there when it's necessary. And they play two quarterbacks, and I think both of them bring something different to the table. And one of them's an older guy, one of them's a younger guy, but they attack the whole field. They throw screens, they throw it deep, they throw five receivers out at times, and they do a lot of stuff. So we've had a very, very detailed week of preparation with our defense for sure. In special teams, I think we always have the advantage. So their special teams aren't bad, but ours are really good with Wyatt Jones, and I'll mention Noah Clinton as well. Burge, I'm sorry. I got Clinton, that's his name. Noah Burge is a ninth grade snapper for all snaps, whether it's punt or extra point. Very talented, done a good job for us so far. Unfortunately, we punted more than we wanted to, but our kickoff and punting has been exceptional. But so we've got a good they have a battery in baseball, so our battery in football is the snapper, the holder, and the kicker, the punter. So really, really been good so far.
Well, Coach, you told us preseason that Wyatt Jones was going to deliver, especially with kickoffs, and both games, South Jones and West Harrison so far, he's gotten them in the end zone, gotten some touchbacks for us, and that just makes it even more difficult and puts more pressure on the opposing offense.
Yeah, starting at the 20s hard when you kick it in the end zone. But I don't know his percentage right now, but it's got to be around 50% or better in the end zone. I know his punting average is 42 yards, which is almost unheard of in high school, and some of those come on bounces. But we've been playing on wet fields, so there's not a great bounce right now. So, but he's been very consistent. They're going to shank one here and there. I get it. Going to miss a kickoff.
Right.
Boy, he's been consistent, and so we always have great expectations when our kicking units are on the field. We've not been able to utilize the field goal game yet, but that's going to come into play. He's got 45-yard range, we feel like. So it'll come into play on any given Friday night.
Coach, how healthy are we at this point?
About as healthy as we can be. We've got 3 kids. Cade Summon, who starts at guard for us, will miss his second game this week. He's got the knee contusion. He's almost ready to go, but not quite. He's wanting to play so bad, but I don't know how effective he's going to be with that thing. He'll definitely be back next week. We have Eli Burnham. I didn't mention him last week. He's a young offensive lineman who would be playing quite a bit right now. He's a 10th grader, big kid, just came out in football this year. We like him a lot, but he's had some shoulder problems from day one, and finally got an MRI last week. He's scheduled for surgery. Just got really loose ligaments in there, and so we're going to miss him this year as a backup and a guy that would play some for us. And Cooper Speed, the younger of the Speed boys, has got a little hip flexor, and he's we'll see come kickoff tonight whether he can play or not, but I don't think he probably will. But he's a special teams guy, backup receiver, backup DB, backup holder. So actually injured it on kickoff return last week, I think. But good little player. Good little player Cooper is.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck against Seminary tonight.
Yeah. Thanks, Harris. Appreciate it.
Stay tuned for the opening kickoff.
let's go live at the stadium. Your voice of the Bobcats, Harris Bell.
Welcome to high school football. We are broadcasting live on the Sumrall Athletics YouTube channel. We are here in Seminary, Mississippi on the campus of the Seminary High Bulldogs, where tonight your Sumrall Bobcats will do battle with the Seminary Bulldogs, and we are joined with Danny Forrest. He's going to be providing some color commentary. Danny, thank you for joining. If you recognize the name, he is the voice of the Bobcats at home at Lions Field for the PA system. Danny, I appreciate you joining us here, and we'll look forward to a good contest.
Well, Harris, it's a beautiful night. Just coming down the road, here comes Seminary out of their end zone, ready to go. And we'll see our Bobcats take the field here in just a second.
Sumrall will be in the white helmets with white jerseys and royal blue numbers. They have opted for the royal blue pants with yellow and white stripes on either side, and they are about to take the field. And we are about to get underway here in Seminary, Mississippi.
I know you're pretty fashion conscious. Is that?
I am indeed.
That's not a faux pas or anything.
No. It's a good look.
Good look.
Good
for you.
luck.
Okay. Just for me to stay away from stripes. That's
That's
what my
right.
wife tells me.
Yes. Just stay away from stripes. Just say no to stripes for sure.
Looks like we got a good crowd that traveled
Yeah.
not very far from
Always
down
the
road.
Sumrall faithful always travel well. The band's here. Seminary won the toss and elected to receive, so they are going to receive the kick. Their kickoff return team is out on the field. Seminary is in their red helmets with blue jerseys, blue pants. It's a beautiful night here at Seminary. Good night for high school football. Wyatt Jones leads the kickoff team out. You know, Coach mentioned in the pregame show that he's a weapon. Anytime you can, and especially in the high school ranks, you can get a touchback. It's
Oh, yeah, definitely. Last week at home, he just
excuse me.
you could really see his value on the
Yep.
field.
Yep. 28. Wyatt Jones is approaching the ball. He boots it away. Seminary grabs it at the 5, makes their way back to the 25, 26. He's got some room, some speed, and he's to the 30, to the 20. We're not going to catch him, and Seminary opens the contest with a kickoff return for a touchdown to take an early 6-0 lead over the Sumrall Bobcats.
Well, you said it, Harris. Speed.
Yeah, speed will
And
kill.
what they do- yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Speed kills.
Good kick from Jones. It pushed him back to the 5, and Seminary just took it from there. And they are lining up for the point after attempt.
Number 5's kicking. Extra point.
Brady Chancellor on the kick.
Snap is back, hold is down, then kick is good. And with 11 minutes, 47 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Bulldogs lead the Bobcats 7-0.
Chancellor, they one kicking off.
Let's see if our Bobcats can answer. He got over on that perimeter, and
Yeah, Harris is
we just couldn't get him.
really not the way you want to start off a ball
No,
game, but
not at all.
the most important thing right now is how we respond.
That's right, how we respond. Plenty of football left. Number 1, Jakari Washington, and number 18, Carson Speed, are back at their 10-yard line, respectively, on either hash mark. By Speed, he's going to bring it up to the 20, the 25, where he's wrapped up and pushed back. Got back to the 25-yard line, though, and that's where your Bobcats will set up shop.
Patton on the stop for the Bulldogs.
Who's y'all's main running
Glass, number 9 Glass. The running back,
Yeah.
Glass. Gavin Glass.
Quarterback is 16.
Riggs
Russell.
Russell. Yeah.
Glass is running back. Quarterback Russell.
Russell is looking over to the sidelines to get some last-minute signals from Coach White and the offensive staff. He's in a shotgun. He's got Gavin Glass on his right shoulder. Twins to the left. He takes the snap. He hands it to Glass. Glass pushes his way off the left tackle, up to about the 29-yard line where they'll spot it. And that's going to bring up second down.
Some good tough yards there he got.
Yep. Big guy. Gavin also plays some linebacker for us on the defensive side of the ball.
He does a little bit of everything for us.
Yep. Russell in the shotgun. Sends Speed in motion. He's going to roll out to his left. He wants to throw to Speed. Speed's got it for a minimal pickup. That's going to bring up a 3rd and about 4 for the Bobcats.
Harris, remind me again, what year is our quarterback, Riggs Russell?
Freshman.
Freshman.
He made his first start last week.
I've really been impressed with
Yeah.
the kid. Of course, he's young, but he's very athletic, and I think he's got a bright future.
Yep. Trips to the right. Now he wants to get some instruction from the sidelines. McGrew leans down and says something to the center. Hand it off to Glass, and there's nothing there for Glass.
He met a pack of Bulldogs
Yep.
right there.
And that's going to bring up 4th down for the Bobcats and send White Jones out to punt. Noah Burge, a freshman, is the long snapper. Jones is the punter. You got Carson Leslie as the personal protector for the punter, so let's see if Jones can get this one away and pin him back deep.
It's going to be Jones back to punt for the Bobcats.
Snap is back. The kick is away. It's a nice high spiral.
It's a good kick, fielded at about the 30 for the Bulldogs.
He's got some speed again up the sidelines, and that's going to be a nice return for the Bulldogs up to the Bobcat. Looks like either the 39 or the 40. Let's see where they spot it.
Yeah. That pushed him out. 28. Jones pushed him out.
Pushed out by 28 for the Bobcats. That'll be Jones on the stop.
Great field position for them again,
Yep.
starting this drive.
So the Bulldog offense trots out onto the field. Let's see what the Bobcat defense can do.
Bulldogs will be starting out at about the 39-yard line.
Bulldogs are in a spread as well. Quarterback's in the shotgun with a running back to his right. Lewis looks like he's showing some pressure. Had a nice hold. Number 15 for the Bobcats on the tackle, Kentrell Berry.
Barry on the stop.
That's going to move the chains for the Bulldogs and give them a new set of downs. Took it down to inside the 30 of the Bobcats. That's going to be, looks like the 27. Shotgun again for the Bulldogs. Twins on either side. Takes the snap, wants to pass, complete,
Pass number 6, Tristan Wolf on the reception.
and that's going to be enough for another first down. Number 1, Jakari Washington was on the tackle.
Out by Washington for the Bobcats, but not before securing a Seminary first down.
So that's going to take it inside the 20, inside the 15, actually. Bulldogs in a pistol formation this time. Has 2 receivers on either side. Clock running under 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Sends a man in motion. He wants to pass. He's got some time.
Oh, had a little chance there for interception.
We did, yes.
Yards pass is incomplete.
Broken up by Michael Knight. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs.
By the Bobcats.
Would have been great if he had been able to get an interception in that.
He did a great job
Yeah.
getting that one big mid up. and
That's
knocking
right.
it down at least.
Pitch out.
Quarterback pitches it. Oh, the ball was on the ground. Let's see if the Bobcats get it. One official is pointing in the Bobcats' direction.
Sumrall covered number 8.
Number 8, Brendan Lewis, was there to recover the fumble.
The pitch out to the Davies.
Great play by Lewis and great play by the defense that caused that fumble.
Lewis.
Recovered the fumble.
So now let's see what the Bobcat offense can do.
And those are kind of breaks we're going to need tonight.
Yep, for sure. 8 minutes, 9 seconds to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats. From their own 12. Russell's got glass on his right shoulder. Look at, hands it off to Glass.
Glass on the carry. He's going to be stopped by a full pack of Bulldogs.
Number 22.
There was just no room, no push up front.
Stop.
Looks like that's going to be 22 on the stop. Young blood. for the
That's going to be a loss of yards for the Bobcats, and that's going to put them behind the chains. Russell's awaiting the snap. He rolls to his right. He's got Leslie out in the flat. Oh, and a late hit. Oh, my gosh.
It's going to be number 12, Leslie on the reception.
He was pushed out of bounds. Looked like there was a late hit out of bounds. That's going to bring up 3rd and 6 for the Bobcats.
It's going to bring up about 3rd and 6.
I'll tell you, Leslie, that last weekend tonight, he's shown he has some really good hands.
He does. He's got some speed on him also.
Yeah, he does.
Russell takes the snap. He rolls out to his left. And number 20 on the reception, Isaiah Mister. It will be enough for a first down. We'll see what the flag is, though.
To Mister on the catch.
Flag on the field.
First down for the Bobcats. We do have a flag on the field.
Maybe Leslie can be our Cooper Cup. Because if you had him in fantasy last week, he did a really good job for you.
All right. So that's going to be against the Bobcats, and that's going to back them up.
That flag is going to back up the Bobcats a little bit.
Ineligible receiver downfield, so that's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 for your Bobcats.
Third and long situation.
Clock runs under 7 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Looks like they are going to talk over the officials are having a conference.
I think we got a heat timeout coming up at minute 5, right? They may be looking toward that.
Maybe so. Get
I
'em-
would be. I
Get
was
'em-
wondering,
Get them
Harris,
some Gatorade.
if you think we could Uber a Kona Ice up here?
We could try. Does Seminary have Uber?
Who knows?
Russell's back to pass. He's going to scramble now. Made a little something out of nothing. But that is going to bring up 4th down again, and number 28, Jones, is out to punted away.
Brings up.
How cool a name is that, though? Riggs Russell. I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds like somebody off of Friday Night Lights.
It does.
I mean, it just sounds like a winner,
Yes,
you know. So he's got that going for him.
he does indeed.
26 what? 26 on the kick? Yeah.
Snap is back.
Jones,
Jones gets it away.
Jones.
The Bulldogs call for a fair catch at the 50.
Jones is kicked.
We're gonna turn the line on
It's
this.
called by Tristan Wolf for the fair catch for the Bulldogs. Jones taking it about midfield.
Another great punt, like you said. Our kicking game and special teams really puts us in a good position on the kickoffs.
And we're going to take a heat timeout right here.
There's that heat timeout that you
Yep, there we
spoke
go.
about. Get you some water if
For
you
all
need it,
us-
Danny.
Bigger fellas, we are always looking for that heat timeout.
5 minutes, 52 seconds to go in the first quarter. Bobcats trail 7-0. If you're just joining us, we are broadcasting live on the Sumrall Athletics YouTube channel here in Seminary, Mississippi. It's a beautiful night for high school football.
Collins, Mississippi business community to bring one of the
Harris, I know you had to work late. You had some difficult customers you were dealing with this afternoon.
Very, very picky.
Yes. If we could have, though, gotten here a little bit earlier, Red's Dine-In,
Okay.
right at the railroad tracks,
Right.
go-to place.
All right.
The chili cheese melt, I'm telling you,
And tell them Danny sent you.
yes. It won't help you any, but
They
you
may
can tell.
charge you more, but just tell them Danny sent you. I'm sure they remember you.
You'll get a little extra chili maybe, but that's about it.
But at midfield, 3 receivers to the left. He sends one in motion. He's back to pass. He wants to pass. Little too high for the receiver and for Washington. Washington was right there.
Yeah, great coverage on our back secondary.
brings up 2nd and 10 for the
So it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs from midfield. They are at the top of the S if you were looking at it on YouTube. Seminary sets up in a pistol-like formation, 3 receivers to the left. Fakes the handoff. Wide receiver screen. And the Bobcats read it well. And number 9, Glass, and number 1, Washington were there to make sure he didn't go much further than the line of scrimmage. It looks like he's
Nothing doing.
Nothing. Looks like they lost a yard, so it's going to bring up 3rd and 11 for the Bulldogs. And let's see if our Bobcat defense can get off the field and get this back to the offense.
Really important 3rd down right here for
Yes.
the Bobcats.
Carson Speed, number 18, checks in for number 6, Caden Owens.
We can get this stop and get off the field.
That's right.
Get Riggs back going.
Overthrew the receiver. Once again, Washington, number 1, and Speed, number 18, were there step for step with the receiver. Good coverage. Just a little overthrown.
Good defensive stand for our Bobcats. You always like to see that. Great coverage. Our secondaries look really good tonight,
Yep.
covering anything down the field.
Number 18, Carson Speed, is back deep to receive this punt.
with speed deep to receive for the Bobcats.
Snap away. The punt is away.
Signals fair catch.
Speed signals for a fair catch, and then maybe had second thoughts.
Got a flag on the play.
Called at about the 15-yard line.
I wonder if they're going to call delay a game since looked like he called for a fair catch and then tried to run. So we will see.
Possibly, but I was hoping they didn't see what we saw. But I'm afraid they did.
While the officials sort this out, we will take you around the district. North Forest is at Purvis tonight. Columbia travels over to Petal to take on the Panthers. Lawrence County travels to East Central. Forest County AHS is down in Van Cleve tonight.
That Lawrence County game, they got a little ride, don't they, at East Central?
Yeah. As soon as we have some scores, we will get those to you.
And I know we're facing a team that is right now, I believe, is undefeated too.
They are undefeated, yes.
Back to about the 7-yard line.
So
And I know also with this, as Haley Barber would say, hurricane that we had this week, I know it knocked our guys out of one day of practice.
Yep. So the Bobcats will start deep in their territory. Russell's in the shotgun. He stands at about his 2-yard line. He fakes it to Glass, gets it out to Leslie. Leslie makes one man miss and gets it up to, looks like, the 10-yard line for some positive yards. So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 7. Speed, it looked like he was going to check out, but he checks back in.
Right now, we need him to live up to his last name.
Indeed. So Russell's going to have 3 receivers to his left. He's in the shotgun. He takes the snap, hands it to Glass.
And off is the Glass once again.
Some tough yards. Up
Very tough yards.
Look good, though.
Out to the 20. And that's going to be enough to advance the chains, and the Bobcats are going to reset the downs. They're going to have 1st and 10 from their own 20. Clock ticks under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, the Bobcats trail 7-0. Offense trying to climb back in and put something together.
Harris, I believe if you got here late, you're going to have trouble finding a spot because I believe both sides are full.
I don't think you could shoehorn another.
Greatly attended. I don't think you could put 2 more up here with us.
Russell got it away. He was trying to get set up a wide receiver screen to Washington, and Washington couldn't hold on to it.
Russell's pass on Sumrall. Looks like we're going to get a holding penalty on Sumrall.
You know, Harris, I don't believe last week we had too many penalties against us last week. We did pretty good, but we've had several already this first quarter.
That's going to back him up. Another 10 yards for a very long first down.
So it's going to be first.